Hey, everybody, Off the Mic Sports Network here. Another edition of Off the Top Rope. So we've got this discussion going on in the internet wrestling community about AEW and, how they match up to WWE and how AEW, the spring breakthrough show was better than, is going to be better than WrestleMania, which I think is a stupid premise. You guys might want to watch NXT Stand and Deliver again and tell me with a straight face that, AEW is a better product than NXT, which is supposed to be the third brand. First match on this show was two AEW guys that got cast aside, just got cast aside. The second match on this show, two of the best high flyers in the business, something that AEW is supposed to do really well. Nathan Fraser, I think at one point was doing dark matches over in AEW. Fraxium and Axiom has been all over the place. A-Kid, he's an international star from Spain. And they lose to guys Hank and Tank. I think and Tank is a former Northwestern football player. And Hank, I think, is a former football player as well. So you got guys who have no experience. You have all the experience and all the things there. The women's North American title ladder match had a bunch of developmental talent in that match. Zarya being the biggest name, I think, at least from the independent scene. AEW couldn't get her locked down. The D'Angelo family, Tony D has been one of the prides of this 2.0 era of NXT. So it's a bunch of young talent there. Then you've got the women's NXT championship. You basically have got three women, and then Jada Parker, who is a PC creation and a PC like developmental story, which is outstanding. And then you've got Stephanie Vaquer, who it's been well documented on this show 10 months ago, was in a match against Mercedes Moné, won over the crowd, and then went out, took less money to go to NXT, is now the face maybe of this entire division, period. Jordan Grace, who was in TNA, that they had a working partnership. They never brought Jordan Grace onto television, which is insane to me. And then you got Julia, one of the biggest international stars as well. Couldn't even get her under contract. So, and then the main event, three black men, all, performance center creations, really. And Siobhan Evans, who was jobbing out to Jeff Jarrett a couple years ago. The fans said it to start the show in the first 20 minutes of this show. Tony fumbled. Thank you, Tony. Because what has happened here with it by some by their own, accord, some by, just, the fact that NXT has really stepped up their game under Shawn Michaels. They've really found a formula that works, that, going after top talent and forcing them in. You can supplement your roster, your future of your roster with with talent from other places. But this wasn't all about that. Like Obafemi is the top champion in this in this brand. This guy was a shot putter at Alabama. This guy's just shot putter at Trick Williams is a former football player at South Carolina. He's one of the most over guys in this. Thea Hale, was in the women's North American ladder match. She was doing, she's only 20 years old. She was doing jobber appearances in AEW. So before AEW fans try to proclaim, hey, we're better than WWE, why don't you guys try beating NXT first? Because they've been beating you ever since they went to the CW. They've been doing that. And until that happens, I can't take this company seriously. Or until they start consistently putting a good trend to shows to raise their number and raise their attendance and raise their ratings, nothing is going to change about this place. NXT knows who they are, okay? They know they're a developmental brand. They know, hey, we're kind of trying to measure up as that third, minor league brand with, some, major league level talent. And their women's division is, in my eyes, the best in the entire industry right now. If you look at just the amount of talent, they had 10 women on this main show. They had a 6-woman ladder match, and then they had a fatal 4-way. Some people will think, oh, that's too many multi-person matches. That means you have so many talented women that deserve a spot in the show. And then on top of it, if you want to take it a step further, they had 8 women on the kickoff show. So if you want to talk about the whole entire show that happened over NXT, they had a whopping 18 women on this show. So I don't even know what you guys want me to say here. If you're an NXT fan, you buy your stock in this. I'm not saying that this is going to become Raw or SmackDown, but it's beating AEW on a week to week basis. And all this talk about, hey, our show this week was better than WrestleMania. Why don't you guys try being better than Stand and Deliver first? Because Stand and Deliver was honestly one of the best NXT shows that they've done since this rebrand that they have. NXT is just a spectacular product because they have blended new talent. Yes, there's botches occasionally, but they know who they are. AEW for the longest time has not figured out who they are. They're supposed to be an alternative, but you wouldn't know it considering half of their champions are ex-WWE people. They have the longest reigning NXT champion currently on their rosters holding the TNT title. Okay, cool. But all I was thinking was watching the show, and the tone was set in that first 10 or so minutes with that Ricky Saints and Ethan Page match. Tony fumbled. Thank you, Tony. These were two guys who were cast off and have thrived under the NXT banner. Can't wait to see what they do moving forward. Can't wait to see what the rest of this roster does moving forward. And if you're AEW and you're Tony Khan, you've got to watch this and think, okay, what can I do better to, match up to this? Because the first step to getting back to where they were is figure out what is going on in NXT that is having them beat us. Figure out how to beat them first. And then, hey, if you want to try and, have some sort of a competition, I don't think it's going to be a competition, then we can have a discussion. So great show, really entertaining from NXT. We'll have a lot of WrestleMania coverage. We'll be live here on the channel at about 3:45 Pacific, 6:45 Eastern time, right roughly around the start of the show, 15 minutes before. And thanks for everybody who has ridden with me from the beginning. We're over 1,100 subscribers. You guys are awesome. I love you. Appreciate you. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.